The second gift that the Sacred Heart promises, it's so important for our time, where I see so many tugs and struggles, is in my state of life. I have met so many priests who are so burnt out and so wearied. I will give you all the graces you need to live your state of life. And some priests have fallen far short of the vows they've taken to be holy priests. Are you a priest that's struggling with your life? Do you find in your life a malaise, a discontent, a weariness of being a priest in these days? And so many of us can become so discouraged in these days of conflict. The Sacred Heart promises, I will give to those who consecrate themselves to my Sacred Heart, I will give them the grace to live their state of life, whatever that is. Are you in a marriage and there's such discontent, conflict, that you have been thinking about divorce of your spouse? I will give each of you the grace, the consecration of the Sacred Heart in the home. Why is there so much divorce on paper? But why? Is because there's divorce in the heart. The husband not revealing who he really is to his spouse. The spouse, the wife, not revealing to, and the conflict of husbands and wives is because of the separation. What is divorce? The non-communication. I remember my dad once saying, he was asked, what was the greatest gift that he had in his marriage? And you know, I don't know what he was going to say. And he said it was being able to communicate with my wife. Being able to just be able to understand even where we disagreed. I remember they always canceled out each other's vote. They never agreed on, no matter what it was. If there was a line here and a line here, he would think this, she would. They constantly were very different. She was really who she was, he was really who he was, but they communicated. There was never anything in him that she didn't know. And she knew him better than she knew herself. And there was never anything in her that he didn't know. That union was so obvious. I will give, and that I entrusted and was so grateful to the Sacred Heart and the enthronement in the home. It doesn't mean that arguments will stop. It does mean that there will be peace and to live your state of life. Are you a husband? You'll be a husband. Are you a wife? You'll be a wife. Are you a worker in wherever you work? Wherever you are, a teacher, whatever you do, you will have this gift of being fulfilled in your state of life. If you know that joy, are you the bishop? Then you will be a happy bishop. You will be fulfilled. Do you find yourself always in conflict and discouragement or whatever as a bishop, or in fear? How long are you going to live that way? The Sacred Heart promises, I will give to every person who opens his heart and enthrones himself and his work to the Sacred Heart. Enthrone your diocese to the Sacred Heart. Enthrone your home, enthrone your school, wherever you may be. Enthrone their work to the Sacred Heart. I was with a warden in prison, and he wanted his prison enthroned to the Sacred Heart. The change and that happened in that prison was amazing and enormous. That the Sacred Heart took over that particular prison. And I was walking down the hall with him, and we had just enthroned the Sacred Heart. He said, do you know that there's no water in this prison? I have had people come from the state, and there were 1,800 prisoners there. And I said, well, why don't you tell the Sacred Heart that's his business? If you can't find it out, ask the Sacred Heart to do it. That very hour, that water was turned on. That very hour. Wherever you are, he is. Do you think he's a tinsel God who just can't turn on the water to supply it for the prisoners in that prison? And that warden was one of the most Christian, powerful people that I have ever met. And I still remember Warden Cullen. And that it took place right after the enthronement of the Sacred Heart. Whatever you do, or wherever your work is, trust that God will keep his promise. The promises of the Sacred Heart, he made 12 of them, but these are 2 that I think are really worthwhile thinking about and praying about.